So as the NBA is in the midst of their TV negotiations, we're seeing the possibilities, especially with the NFL and their wildcard weekend being streamed exclusively on Peacock, which is almost serving as the lab rat for the NBA to take notes to see if they're going to accept large sums of money to stream certain games exclusively, especially with the batch of brand new inventory they've added to the league recently with the in-season tournament as well as the play-in, which at the moment look like very lucrative pieces to have that can get a one-time cash payout to stream exclusively maybe on Apple Plus, Amazon, or even other streaming services like Peacock. But we're going to hear a soundbite from Mike Francesca explaining how the NFL audience might have a bit pushback. And unlike the NBA, the NFL audience is a lot older and they might not be as savvy as trying to find the games on streaming services, as the NBA audience is definitely much savvier with interacting with the league through NBA Twitter and also watching different live streams by former players making commentary during the games. You guys check out this segment, and every once in a while I'll check in.
Going to cause a lot of yelling and screaming this week because the NFL, which has the best, the biggest, the best, and the most loyal fan base anywhere, decides to basically thumb its nose at its fan base and just make another greedy reach for another bundle of money like they need it. And now we have the Peacock playoff exclusive, which you have to pay for. How many people in America don't have cable TV? How many people in America don't have smart TV?
Now, this right there is an NFL problem. Most NBA fans are already savvy with the smart TVs and the streaming. This is where the NFL might hit the wall because a lot of their demographics are a lot older. But you could flip the coin on the other side. The NBA, unlike the NFL, does not have a loyal fan base to the NBA. A lot of the NBA audience is loyal to certain players. They're not really loyal to the league or to teams. But when it comes to the NFL, that's the polar opposite.
How many people in America don't even know what streaming is, no less finding streaming, or willing to pay an extra amount to get a playoff game?
By the way, those playoff games that's going to be streamed exclusively on Peacock, there is no free trial. That's definitely behind a paywall, similar to pay-per-view.
This is a joke that the NFL would do this with their playoff product. It's bad enough they would do it with a regular season game on a Thursday night, or do it with a regular season game on a Saturday. But to do it with a playoff game is the biggest slap in the face to their national fan base. People wait all year for these playoff games. They love these playoff games, and you're going to now charge them extra for a playoff game? They don't give enough. You don't make enough. The word is that the NFL got $110 million to stream this game from Peacock. They got $110 million to stream this one game exclusively.
Now you start to see where the NBA in-season tournament as well as the play-in kind of factor in. These are games in which they have major urgency, as it's pretty much a one-time knockout round. So these games going to have sense of urgency, and they are definitely major inventory pieces to get a one-time payout from streaming services. So you start to understand why Adam Silver in the past few years has started adding these little in-season tournaments and games that have sense of urgency into the league. These are just brand new pieces of inventory to kind of position the NBA to get a similar deal as the NFL did with streaming services as well as their broadcast partners.
Is this the wave of the future? They're going to have a hard time doing it with playoff games because there's going to be a tremendous fallout from this. And there should be, because it is the utterly disgraceful, greedy reach by the NFL. Like they don't make enough money. Like their fans don't go into their pocket for jerseys, for all kinds of NFL merchandise, for tickets that are very expensive across the country. They don't show up and are there religiously every Sunday. And now you're going to charge them for a playoff game? It is the ultimate slap in the face to the best and most ardent and the most dramatically important fan base in America. Nobody gets the ratings, not even close, of what the NFL gets. And it's never enough.
And that's where the NBA is going to run into the wall. You see the loyalty the NFL fan bases have? I mean, they got situations in which they're asking certain fans in certain regions to come to the stadiums and shovel the snow out the stands. And the fans will just come through just to do that off the love of the team. I mean, when some of these teams land, like the Buffalo Bills, when they land in their city, they got fans standing at the airport. The NBA teams overall don't get that type of love. You see that type of fandom with soccer clubs throughout the world, like Manchester United, Barcelona, or Bayern Munich in Germany. But that type of fandom, when it comes to NBA teams, is very different in the United States. A lot of the NBA audience, once again, is pretty much loyal to certain players. And there's very few teams that have actual team loyalty like the Lakers or the New York Knicks. But the NFL is serving as a guinea pig for the NBA to see how these type of deals work out and what are the lump sums of money they can get. And I believe the NBA is headed towards this route with some of the earlier playoff rounds, as well as maybe 1 or 2 games for the in-season tournament, as well as the play-in. But due to the way fans don't really have to watch the games throughout in order to place wagers on the game, just like the NFL, there's a sense of urgency to watch these games. You can see it with NFL Red Zone. It's just more exciting for them to watch the NFL game around gambling than it is for the NBA. So there's a sense of urgency to actually watch these games for guys to see what's going on in their fantasy teams, as well as their wagers. It's almost like the NFL is a perfectly designed game to gamble on, and that leads to a lot of fan interaction. For the NBA, you could just really look at the injury list before these games and place a wager. You don't necessarily have to watch the game.
Anytime they can find another pile of money to grab, they grab it with both hands, and it never stops.
And the NBA is definitely no different.